The Acolyte is finally here, and in this video I'm going to go over everything we saw in the first 2 episodes, from the amazing fight choreography to a shirtless Yord steaming his Jedi robes. I want to start off by going over everything we've learned so far, since this series is said to be a mystery thriller after all, and then get into my overall thoughts and theory on Mae and Osha's unique connection. And if you're a horror fan like me, I think you're really going to enjoy this theory a lot. Before we get into it, welcome back to my channel. My name is Scotty Holiday. I'm a queer creator and a huge Star Wars nerd, so if you're into either one of those things, please consider liking, subscribing, and following me on social media at ScottyHolidaySW for all my latest Star Wars content. Now, let's jump into these episodes. In episode 1, Lost/Found, we learn in the past, twins Mae and Osha and their mothers lived on the planet Brendok, where 4 Jedi Masters, Indara, Sol, Torben, and Kelnacca, were stationed for a time. Mae started a fire and everyone including her were presumed dead except for Osha, who Master Sol took on as his Jedi Padawan, and the two of them kept her twin a secret from the entire Jedi Order. Osha left the Order for whatever reason 6 years prior to the events of the Acolyte, now working as a mechanic. Mae, who is still alive, successfully kills Master Indara, and Osha is blamed and taken into custody, but escapes her prison transport after crash landing on a remote planet where she has a vision of a young Mae who admits to the killing. Sol, believing Osha's innocence, travels with his current Padawan Jecki and Jedi Knight Yord to track down Osha, and after their pursuit and saving her from falling off a cliff, Osha and Sol are finally reunited, and she tells him that Mae is alive and behind Indara's murder, which Sol also believes. Then at the end, Mae's mysterious master is revealed, wielding a red lightsaber, explaining that the Jedi live in a dream, but an Acolyte kills the dream, in a super unsettling mechanical voice. Then in episode 2, Revenge/Justice, Mae breaks into a Jedi outpost, attempting to confront and kill Master Torben, who is in a deep meditation that keeps her from being able to attack him. Sol confirms Osha's innocence after Master Vernestra informs him of the break-in at the outpost by a suspect matching Osha/Mae's description, revealing Osha's twin to the Jedi Master, and she agrees to let the Jedi investigate further with the help of Osha. Qimir is introduced as a skeezy accomplice of Mae's, who is also in league with her Dark Master, and creates a poison for her to give to Master Torben to kill him. The Jedi and Osha arrive on the planet inquiring about the break-in, asking to speak with Torben, who we also learn has taken the bearish vow. Mae gets to Torben first though, and he willingly takes her poison, dying instantly before he's able to be questioned. Shortly after, the Jedi discover Qimir's disguise as the apothecary's shop owner and send Osha disguised as Mae to get more information, with him confessing that Mae will be back later in the evening. Sol confronts Mae later that night, and just when the Jedi have her surrounded, she escapes. Osha also may or may not have allowed Mae to escape after they see each other for the first time face to face since the night of the fire 16 years ago. After reporting the news to Vernestra, Sol wants to continue their pursuit of Mae, but Vernestra disagrees, insisting they must strategize their next move with the guidance of the Council rather than rushing into it further with emotions high. Mae later confronts Qimir at the end of the episode for selling her out, and the two of them escape the planet together, headed to Kafar after Jedi Master Kelnacca. Now, getting into the characters, first and foremost, we've got to talk about Mae and Osha. I think there's a lot more to their connection than we've seen so far. They're definitely giving a very Gemini, yin and yang, two sides of the same coin vibe, but I think it goes a lot deeper than we realize. In Osha's vision, she and young Mae recite nursery rhymes from their childhood that were very intriguing to say the least. The first one goes, "You are with me, I'm with you, always one, but born as two." And then the second, "As above sits the stars and below lies the sea, I give you you and you give me me." It seems like Mae and Osha are connected by more than blood, possibly even through the Force as bond twins, or at least they were when they were children. The High Republic Publishing Initiative actually introduced the idea of bond twins, with Jedi Knights Tarek and Saret, who were twins that shared a Gestalt mind, which in science fiction literature and media is most often described as multiple minds or consciousnesses that are linked into a single collective consciousness or intelligence, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is something leslye Headland pulled directly from the High Republic books when developing the twin characters for the Acolyte. We know that Mae can wield the Force to a degree, and Osha was accepted into the Jedi Order, so they're both clearly Force sensitive. However, I wonder if their bond was severed when Mae was presumed dead and from all their years apart. In discussing Mae's possible survival, Sol tells Osha that he's made peace with what happened on Brendok, a lesson he tried to teach her to accept what she lost, and I wonder if these teachings could have also further severed the connection she and Mae once had, which is why neither twin knew of each other's survival until all these years later when they finally saw each other. It also seems like Osha is unable to tap into or wield the Force since leaving the Order, and I imagine this has also hindered any connection between the two of them. We know that Mother Aniseya is one of Osha's mothers and the leader of a coven of witches, so I wonder if Mae could actually be the result of some form of magic, trying to rid Osha of her darker qualities, or just a spell that goes wrong that literally splits her in two. This idea of Osha being split into two, with the original Osha remaining and then the new creation of Mae, reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Us by Jordan Peele. Us explores the idea that every person shares their soul with a dark doppelganger, and throughout the film sees the doppelgangers emerge from the underground to kill and take the place of their other half. Leslye Headland has said in many interviews that she wrote the characters of the Acolyte with their specific actors in mind, and I wouldn't be surprised if she did the same with the series' composer, Michael Abels, who also composed the music for the film Us. It's interesting to note that in episode 2, Osha tells Master Soul that she blames Mae for killing her family and not their family, saying that Mae destroyed her life, and that's definitely something to keep in mind as the season plays out. Wherever the story ends up going, there seems to be a lot more to learn about whatever happened on Brendok involving Mae, Osha, and the 4 Jedi Masters, especially after Master Torben willingly chooses to drink Mae's potion rather than confessing his crimes to the Jedi Council, saying, "Forgive me, we thought we were doing the right thing." I'm also loving Amandla Stenberg's portrayal as the twins, really making me believe that Mae and Osha are actually 2 completely different characters played by 2 completely different actors. Another standout character in this series so far is Jedi Master Soul. He's such an interesting character and Jedi Master, holding on to his attachments to his former Padawan, even though he says he's made peace with the past. Though this might seem like a stark contrast to the Jedi of the prequels, the Jedi of the High Republic were a lot more lenient when it came to their rules on emotions and attachment, and I'm glad to see that being reflected in the series so far as well. Master Soul seems to be holding on to a lot of guilt for not being able to save both twins, on top of hiding the fact that Osha had a twin sister from the entire Jedi Order until now, and I'm beginning to think that he and Osha know a lot more about Mae than they're leading on, or at least that the series is telling us, especially after the looks they gave each other when Osha seemingly allows Mae to escape. Jedi Master Soul is a true testament to how great of an actor Lee Jung-jae truly is, knowing that he's speaking his lines in a completely different language than his own, but remains so captivating in his delivery and acting overall, as well as with the other characters of the series. I'm really loving his character so far. Speaking of the other characters, both Yord and Jecki are interesting and distinct characters as well, and I really like the dynamic between them, Soul, and Osha so far. Yord likes to do things by the book, while Jecki seems to be the more creative of the two, with Jecki being the one to suggest Osha disguising herself as Mae to get information from Qimir, versus Yord's suggestion of rushing in lightsabers drawn. Jecki gives off major Padawan Ahsoka vibes, but in a really good way, and Yord's strict adherence to the rules is super annoying, but like in a really cute way. I was also really surprised to see him shirtless, but it was just another welcome surprise nonetheless, one I wouldn't mind seeing more of. I've also really grown to like Jecki's design as well. Have I mentioned that the cast of the show is just hot overall? With the Acolyte being Star Wars' first endeavor into a new era outside of the Skywalker saga, I also want to talk about my thoughts on the overall vibe of the show so far. There's a lot of high hopes for this series from the High Republic fanbase, and while I unfortunately haven't read any of the High Republic books or comics, I still went into the series with expectations, and so far, I'm really loving the aesthetic, and it definitely feels different, but still familiar. Oddly enough, the series gives me major Knights of the Old Republic vibes for some reason, not within the look or aesthetic, but in the way that we're viewing the story that's being told, and as a KOTOR fan, I really like that. Even Kelnacca's home at the end of the episode reminded me a lot of Jolie Bindo's hut from the first game in the Shadowlands of Kashyyyk, but I'm sure we'll get more into him in the next episode. Overall, the new worlds introduced so far feel so lived in, and the plethora of human and alien designs, costuming, and set dressings have probably been the best yet for a Disney Plus Star Wars series. I'm really loving the stunt and fight choreography so far, though I do hope we get to see some lightsaber combat mixed in as well in the next 6 episodes. And last but not least, between the scope and the score, this series definitely feels like the most cinematic Star Wars we've seen in a very, very long time, and I can't wait to watch this story unfold. Let me know your thoughts on the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte in the comments below, or join my Discord to continue the conversation there. Make sure to like, subscribe, and consider following me on social media at ScottyHolidaySW for all my latest Star Wars content. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.